We're also trying to figure out their next generation.
California State University has more undocumented students than almost any other higher education system in America. Timothy White is the chancellor of Cal State and joins us now. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
You oversee 23 campuses across the state of California. What impact would the end of DACA have on your schools?
Well, it would make it so several thousand of our students and several hundred of our employees would lose the status that DACA has provided. And for some, that would mean they would drop out of school out of fear. For others, it would mean that they would not be able to
that is
get
smoke.
a job.
All smoke.
Ability to function in society once they earn their college degree. So we're actually deeply disappointed in the president's action and are working strongly with now our congressional members to create legislation to reverse this.
Can you tell me about a conversation you've had with somebody in the Cal State community the last day that underscores the impact this would have?
I've had several students reach out to me. They have goosebumps, they have tears in their eyes. They're so scared, so concerned about having their education interrupted. You know, I'm an immigrant from Argentina and arrived in the United States when I was 9. And it was the California public higher education system that allowed me to go to community college and Cal State campuses and then the UC for my degrees. I know what this means.
You sent out a statement yesterday to students, faculty, and staff in which you expressed disappointment in the Trump administration's decision. And you also said it would not have an impact on enrollment, tuition, or financial aid to students. Explain why.
Because California, as a state with our Cal Grant program and California State University through the State University Grant program provide financial aid to students. The only area where there is a limitation is undocumented students are not eligible for federal financial aid. But between our own campus-based programs, private philanthropy, and the Cal Grant program, we're able to continue to support these students.
But even if DACA does go away and they aren't able to stay in school, they then would not be able to legally work afterwards.
And that's the problem that we're going to have to solve as a society. That's correct.
Right now we're in a period of uncertainty where the Trump administration has given Congress 6 months to act, and he has said that if they don't, he may reconsider his decision. How does that uncertainty affect your students and staff?
Well, you know, learning is difficult enough when you're taking calculus and working hard. You may be first in your family to go to school. Many of our students are also working 20, 30 hours a week in order to make ends meet financially. And you add on top of that then the worry about not only themselves, whether they are going to lose this protection or not, but also the risk of their family being pulled apart, different members of the family being sent back to a home country. That added uncertainty makes it even more difficult for these men and women to focus on their studies and earn their degree in a timely fashion. So it is a wholly unhelpful act that is going to add consternation and time and cost to our students in order for them to earn their degrees.
There's still so many details left to be worked out about how this will be implemented, so many unanswered questions. What do you most urgently need to know right now?
The most urgent thing is to make sure that students realize that there's still a month to go. If their DACA authorization is going to expire prior to March 2018, they are able to renew them for another 2-year term. They have to submit a renewal essentially a month from the Department of Homeland Security on October 5th, 2017. So that's really, really important to recognize that there's still a window of time for the renewal of existing students and employees.
Dr. Timothy White is the chancellor of the California State University system. Thanks for joining us today.
Happy to be with you, Ray.
In
There's
Texas,
the airport
this
over
was
there.
going to be one of the best years farmers had seen in a long time. The cotton crop was projected to bring in record prices.
Bauer decided to bring his cows in first, then cut his rice crop. Unfortunately, he says, he miscalculated by 1 week.
Normal year, we're fine. We can get in, cut it, we're not late. But Mother Nature decided we were late this year.
For Adam Lejes, who runs an aerial fumigation service with his brother, they won't know for weeks if any of their equipment is salvageable. 4 of his crop dusters are underwater at the local airport.
I've never seen it. Nothing like this. I don't think anybody in here has seen it.
It will take months, maybe even a full year, to get final figures on Texas agriculture losses to Harvey. Gene Hall is with the Texas Farm Bureau.
I did some back-of-the-envelope calculations.
Roughly, Hall says, just looking at cotton, Texas's #2 ag product, farmers lost at least a fifth of the crop.
We think that it could be as much as $135 million.
And Hall says for rice farmers, 20% of their crops are still stuck in the ground. Rice farmer John Galding holds tall rubber boots up to his knees to get through the high water still filling his fields. How high is this water we're standing in?
8 inches
And how high did it actually get?
up to the top.
Which is about...
I'm going to say 30 to 36 inches.
Galding, who's 71 and took over the rice business from his father, faces a frustrating situation. Rice stalks sit atop his plants ready for harvest. With each passing day, though, the kernels get drier and drier, while the bottom of the plant remains flooded, too wet to bring in any machinery.
The sad thing is that a lot of the fields were forested. This is a new variety to us, and it had potential to be a nice yield.
And unlike other rice producers who will plant a second crop later in the year, Galding farms crawfish on this field. The small crustaceans burrowed into the ground to hibernate. He won't know whether they survived and will reemerge until next spring, possibly adding to his losses. Farmers in Texas say they feel like the rural families and businesses have been forgotten in the rush to help the cities, especially Houston. They're even more worried they'll be left behind as attention turns to South Florida and Hurricane Irma's likely arrival in a few days. Right now, everyone here is just trying to be patient. Like Marcia Bauer, who owns Texas Salt Grounds, the local feed store in Lima. She says half of her monthly income is from credit she gives out.
And it's not just me that's being affected because we are such a small rural community. A lot of the businesses carry the farmers.
She sent out her statements the day before the town flooded. Hopefully, she says the farmers finally got her bill, now that mail service is back up and running. Carrie Kahn, NPR News, Winnie, Texas.
You're listening to All Things Considered from NPR News. Hunters, anglers, and other sportsmen had high expectations when Ryan Zinke was nominated to be President Trump's Interior Secretary. That's because Zinke pledged to bring a Teddy Roosevelt-style vision of conserving access to U.S. public lands for hunting and other recreation. NPR's Kirk Ziegler reports that some recent developments are causing their support to erode.
Secretary Zinke crisscrossed the West this summer, touring large tracts of protected public land like the Cascade-Siskiyou National Monument in southern Oregon. It was designated by President Clinton and expanded by President Obama. Then Zinke and the Trump administration considered shrinking it.
Well, making sure that people have a voice. That means the ranchers today, what are their concerns? What are the timber guys? What are their concerns?
Zinke says this a lot when he's talking about his review of the size of national monuments and the scope of their restrictions. But he also frequently gives reassurances to the conservation community.
We want to make sure that we look out, as Roosevelt did 100 years ago, look out in the future to make sure we have in place right policies so our experience in our public lands remains.
Now, Interior Secretaries almost always get criticized from one side or the other, or sometimes all sides, because they're in charge of so much land. But the politics for Zinke here are especially tricky. Now that President Trump's base views any restrictions on land use, like national monuments, as federal overreach. But then you've got the president's son, Donald Trump Jr. He's an avid big game hunter who said often on the campaign trail that wild areas should be protected to preserve access for sportsmen. Trump Jr. is closely aligned with several sportsmen's lobbying groups who pushed for Zinke to become Interior Secretary.
What happened to Ryan Zinke?
Now, one of them is running this ad targeting the secretary.
Stand up.
Stand up.
For all public land.
Just like Theodore Roosevelt.
he definitely likes to espouse the ideals of Teddy Roosevelt, and he's not living up to them now.
This is John Sullivan of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers, who's in that ad. A 10-minute drive from his group's Montana headquarters, and we're standing on federal public land next to a trout stream. Deep-pocketed sportsmen's groups have become more of a political force lately, mobilizing, sometimes literally in camo, lobbying to beat back high-profile efforts to restrict access to public lands. John Sullivan says as a congressman, Zinke was a champion for hunter access, even if it meant bucking his own party.
He told us he'd do the same thing before his promotion, and he's kind of reversed that. I feel like he's not listening to us. Threatening those public lands threatens who I am.
A lot of people's identity in the West is intricately tied to public lands. Secretary Zinke often acknowledges this. In a statement, his spokesperson called the Sportsman ad campaigns misleading. Some of the Secretary's backers think the controversy is overblown.
What are we afraid of? That's what I would ask to begin with.
Paul Phillips is on the board of the Boone and Crockett Club, which was founded by Teddy Roosevelt in 1887. While executive order of the Obama administration protected around 4 million acres of land headed as national monuments in the West alone. Phillips points out that some don't have management plans that guarantee hunting access.
So having Secretary Zinke step in and look at this when there's been such a dramatic increase in such a short period of time really makes sense to us.
The stakes here are high, with scores of acres of protected public lands in question. Sportsmen and other conservation groups are watching the Secretary closely. Some groups are already threatening lawsuits if the administration moves ahead with shrinking some of the national monuments. Kirk Ziegler, NPR News.
This is All Things Considered from NPR News.
And this is Northwest Public Radio. It's 5:48. I'm Tom Kilkane. Good evening. President Trump says he wants to begin withdrawing from the U.S.-South Korea Free Trade Agreement. The pact was supposed to help U.S. companies sell more to Korea, but the trade gap is wider than it was when it took effect. We'll find out some reasons why next on Northwest Public Radio, heard in OMAC on 90.1 and at nwpr.org. Northwest Public Radio receives program support from listeners like you and from Regional Health, working to bring Yakima Regional Medical and Cardiac Center, Sunnyside Community Hospital and Clinics, and Toppenish Community Hospital together to form a new local not-for-profit healthcare system serving the Yakima Valley. More information at regional-health.org. For Central Washington and the Okanagan Valley, wildfire smoke is causing poor air quality and cooler temperatures, but conditions are expected to improve Friday through the weekend, although some smoke and haze will remain. Tonight, smoky and hazy, with lows in the upper 50s to mid-60s. Highs Thursday in the 80s to low 90s. Thursday night into Friday, there's a chance of showers and thunderstorms. Northwest Public Radio receives program support from listeners like you and from Sageland Properties, where broker Mary Morgan serves buyers and sellers in the Kittitas Valley. Office located in historic downtown Ellensburg at 422 North Pine. Featured listings of homes and land at sagelandproperties.com.
Carillon is a set of tuned chromatic bells that hang in a steeple or tower. The bells activate automatically as a clock chime or can be played manually from console or keyboard. Jacques Aubert imitated the sound in his Carillon Concerto, which is one highlight of Sunday Baroque this weekend.
Sundays from 10 to noon on the NPR and Classical Music Service of Northwest Public Radio.
From NPR News, this is All Things Considered. I'm Robert Siegel.
And I'm Ari Shapiro. As the South deals with hurricanes, people in the West are fighting dozens of wildfires. In Portland, Oregon, people's cars are covered with a thin layer of ash. In Santa Clarita, California, people can see a glowing line of orange on the horizon. Fires are burning out of control in Montana, Washington, and Colorado, too. We're going to talk now with Conrad Wilson of Oregon Public Broadcasting. Hi, Conrad.
Hi, Ari.
Summer wildfires are not so unusual in Oregon. How severe is this compared to what you've seen before?
Wildfires do happen every year in Oregon and throughout the West, but this amount of smoke is unusual here. The fire is just really close to the Portland metro area, which is also unusual.
How are firefighters doing in trying to contain this blaze?
You know, it's been a real struggle. It was 0% contained, and actually last night the fire merged with another fire that was already burning in the same area to become even bigger. And it's at a point where it's threatening Portland's water supply. That's kind of a big concern firefighters have had today. They're trying to protect the Portland area's drinking water.
I've heard people compare this to the famous Mount St. Helens eruption from the 1980s.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ash in the Portland metro area. It's on cars, and if you're driving around, it kind of kicks up. I don't know if it's quite as much as the St. Helens explosion, although I wasn't here for that. But it is something that is just become part of daily life. I mean, schools have either canceled or let out early, and health officials are saying, don't spend that much time outside if you don't have to.
The fire is in the Columbia River Gorge. It's a place I used to go hiking every weekend, famous for its waterfalls. Describe the impact it could have there in the gorge.
So I'm in Troutdale, which is an eastern suburb of Portland, right on the edge of the Columbia River Gorge. About 3,400 people here are in a low-level evacuation zone, and that means they need to be ready to leave if things get worse. But hundreds of others have been evacuated from towns and neighborhoods in the gorge. The fire is burning in this, as you mentioned, a really special place. It's incredibly beautiful, high-walled cliffs on either side of the Columbia River. It's a place where a lot of tourists go, and as you mentioned, people spend time camping.
I understand you spoke to an eyewitness who saw the fire start?
Yeah, police say it was started by a 15-year-old from Vancouver, Washington, who was misusing fireworks. I did speak to an eyewitness who said that she watched this kid throw a firework off the trail, and the conditions here are just so dry. It didn't take long for the fire to start and then grow. This weekend, the fire sprang up so quickly that 150 hikers who were on the same trail where the fire started were actually stuck overnight, and luckily they were rescued safely the next day.
As we said, there are wildfires burning all over the West. What is the situation now in Montana, California, some of these other states that are fighting fires right now?
In California, there's about 20 fires that are burning, with something like 12,000 firefighters on the ground. As you mentioned, Montana, Idaho, other major fires that firefighters are dealing with across the West.
It's Conrad Wilson of Oregon Public Broadcasting. Thanks for speaking with us.
You're welcome.
This summer, some of our reporters went back to the communities where they grew up to see how their hometowns have changed. NPR's Cheryl Corley spent most of her adolescence in Harvey, Illinois, about 20 miles south of Chicago's downtown. She left Harvey for college in the 1970s. It was once considered a 20th century boomtown. Now Harvey is a struggling suburb, devastated by a loss of factories, the country's housing crisis, crime, and political infighting.
It's been decades since I really visited Harvey, so first stop on this reunion tour, my alma mater, Thornton Township High School, home of the Wildcats. In the main hallway, a welcome sign in English and Spanish greets visitors, and there's lots of purple and white, the school colors all over the place.
All right, look at the camera for me.
As photographers give quick instructions, a long line of students inches forward, getting ready for new school IDs. Asia Gost, a senior now, says there's a reason she's so front and proud.
I like the diversity of the school. It's a lot of different ethnicities, people, different personalities. I'm the captain of the spoken word team. I'm a part of the speech team.
Out in one of the courtyards, there's Principal Tony Ratliff. This day, he's a chef, wearing a purple Wildcat apron, tossing some hot dogs on the grill for students and staff.
Always an honor to have our Wildcats return.
Ratliff is a Thornton graduate himself. He became the principal 6 years ago. When I attended Thornton, there were about 4,500 students, the majority white. It's now less than half that, and mostly African American.
What we accomplished over the years, we've lost that homesteadness. The disadvantage of our school in particular is
in its heyday, more than 30,000 people lived in the village. Today, it's closer to 25,000 and below the poverty line. Driving Harvey's downtown today is a stark contrast to the bustle of years ago. There's a few banks, a thriving hospital, a YMCA, but they are vastly outnumbered by vacant and boarded up businesses. On the street where I live, about a mile from Thornton, the home with the big yard my parents were so proud of is abandoned, a tattered wreck. The sky visible through the roof. The tree I planted in the backyard is towering and strong, but the awnings on the house are faded and frail.
My heart aches. You will see as many boarded up homes as there are.
Ann Davis lived in Harvey for nearly 4 decades. reminder of what happened at the northern edge of town. The vacant Wyman Gordon factory sits like a hulking shell. It's one of many manufacturers that employed thousands in Harvey, but dried up or left town for areas with lower labor costs. Ever since, Harvey has struggled with declining tax revenues, high levels of crime, and poverty. Along Dixie Highway, there's a new business called Entrance Entertainment Venue. It sits on the corner of a site once dominated by a defunct mall.
In the front, we have a bar grill, which we have a full-size menu.
Co-owner Joseph Brooks says there's space for concerts and other events in the back. He says it's a good opportunity for him and for Harvey.
Oh, most definitely. That allows me to bring employment in the black community.
That's the first item on the agenda for many in Harvey, but a plague of crime, charges of financial mismanagement, and political infighting at City Hall hasn't helped matters much. Still, there are some bright spots, including some beautiful homes that remain, plus a few factories, and the library, where I used to study, gets a great meal. There's books, computers, and on Tuesday nights, adult line dancing classes. The dance class is just one of many services the library offers, says Antonia McBride, the head of circulation. McBride grew up in Harvey, left for college, and returned. McBride knows lots of young professionals won't stick around the Chicago suburb, but she hopes for a turnaround.
And have people see the location as being someplace where it could prosper again. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
And as I remember what Harvey used to be and visit it now as an adult, it seems as if it would almost take a miracle in the suburb where I grew up to see that the building was former days. Cheryl Corrigan, NPR News.
This is All Things Considered.
Support for NPR comes from this station and from American Express Open, which is committed to helping businesses turn their best ideas into reality. American Express Open wants to help with money and know-how so businesses can say yes to their best ideas and get business done. From Care.com, a source for senior caregivers who provide personal care, housekeeping, and other services for aging loved ones in need of assistance. Care.com's home care service, also known as Paramount. Learn more at care.com. From ADT Security, we protect homes and businesses for over 140 years. ADT also provides health monitoring and medical alert services to help seniors live independently. More at ADT.com. And from the listeners who support this NPR station.
It's a minute before 6 o'clock. President Trump again urged Congress to act on replacing the DACA program. More next coming up after the news headlines on All Things Considered. Nighttime cocaine heavy rich. Western Washington, smoky conditions gradually improve over the next day or so. Cooling with a chance of showers Thursday into Friday. Lows tonight mid-50s to low 60s. And highs tomorrow in the upper 60s to upper 70s. East of the Cascades, the smoke will continue to plague the region through at least Thursday. Showers and isolated thunderstorms will move through the region on Thursday night and Friday. Lows tonight upper 50s to mid-60s, and highs tomorrow in the 80s to the lower 90s.
About the heroic actions of Navy sailors involved in a deadly collision at sea.
Any of my friends were in trouble, or needed something. Oh, you have car trouble. Let me see what I can do. Bring your car over. That's just what he did. He was Mr. Fix-It.
Plus, the latest on hurricanes in the south and wildfires in the west.
And should we worry about the influence tech companies have over us?
The thing is about tech companies is we don't know. We don't get to see inside their companies, their algorithms.
Now, the news.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Spear. Hurricane Irma is moving away from the Virgin Islands, and its dangerous core is passing north of Puerto Rico tonight. NPR's Nell Greenfield-Boyce reports the storm is showing no signs of weakening.
The National Hurricane Center says that Irma's maximum sustained winds are near 185 miles per hour, with even higher gusts. It's still a Category 5 storm, one of the most powerful Atlantic Ocean hurricanes ever recorded. And while the intensity of winds may fluctuate a bit, Irma is expected to remain a powerful Category 4 or 5 storm for the next couple of days. Those hurricane-force winds extend outward up to 50 miles from the center of Irma. Early Thursday, hurricane conditions should begin in Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Forecasters are warning of life-threatening flash floods and mudslides. Nell Greenfield-Boyce, NPR News.
President Trump broke with his fellow Republicans today and agreed to a short-term increase in the federal debt limit. NPR's Scott Horsley reports Trump says the increase will be paired with a bill to keep the government's lights on, provide emergency funding for storm victims.
Republicans.
All right, I want to take a short walk, see how far I can go over here. I've been out here before. Alrighty. Let's see if I can see over this edge down into the valley. This will show a lot of the smoke, even more. Yeah. Let's see what we can see. I just got off work, haven't even been home yet. This is a popular hiking area, as you can see by this trail. This isn't the main one though. The main one goes up above the mountain there where the sun is. It goes clear up there. Right below the sun, I should say. Yeah, there's the valley down there. Really smoky. Never seen it this smoky. Fires everywhere. Okay, this is where I wanted to be. Yep. There's a road over there. Can't even see it, so smoky, but it's a pretty busy road. You can see a truck right there. That's not the road. It's further over than that one. But this is it. I haven't really had any breathing problems. Some people are complaining about headaches at work, but at least one person anyway. But man, really thick and heavy. Looks like fog, but it isn't. It's smoke, and you can smell it, especially after you walk outside from inside. It's really, really strong. Oh, you know what? That is the main road. I was wrong. Anyway, time to go. There it is. Thought I'd share with you. I'm out.